I'm going to do a little exercise. And the purpose of this exercise is to help people understand why victims can't speak up. Now, the point of a Strings Attached documentary is to help everyone to hear the words that victims can't say. That's really important. And I'm going to explain why they cannot say those words. So I'd like to say that abusers have eyes and ears everywhere. And I want to frame it this way. I want you to imagine that there is an armed robbery at a convenience store. And the robber has a gun. He pulls out a 9mm Glock, holds it to a girl's head, grabs her, and drags her out the door and shoves her in a car. Now, what is the very first thing that this perpetrator of this crime is going to demand of his victim? The reason that this question is so important is because the answer is the common denominator for all of abuses that take place. Every time that there is child abuse, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, sex trafficking, all of the perpetrators of these crimes have one thing in common. The answer is they're going to demand that their victim or the witness of this crime keep your mouth shut. Shut up. Be quiet. Do not say anything or do anything that will draw attention to the crime that's being committed. Now, we need to reframe the whole way that we look at domestic violence and how that interacts with society. So, again, going back to the illustration of the gunman that takes a woman hostage, throws her in a car, and now the two of them are in a secluded environment together. And imagine what the interactions are going to be like between the perpetrator of that crime and the victim of that crime. So, we have three variables here. Okay? You have your victim. And then you have your abuser. And then over here, we're just going to say off to the side, we have this whole collective group of people. And this collective group of people are nothing more than bystanders. Okay. I want you to imagine that we're at a bar and there is an abuse victim and her abuser walking into that bar. And in this scenario A, I'm the bystander. And let's just assume I'm friends with the abuser. When this couple walks into the bar, from the outside looking in, I don't see an abuser and I don't see a victim. There is often not going to be anything in her behavior that is going to indicate to me that she's a victim. She is going to act completely normal. Her behavior is going to be much like everybody else's, most likely. And why is that? Because she knows her abuser is watching her. Again, abusers have eyes and ears everywhere. And if I am the bystander and I'm maybe friends with the abuser and I approach the victim every time I see her, hey, how's it going? You look nice. I love your dress. You know, what's been going on? How's work going? Do you want to go get our nails done sometime? I know nothing about this dynamic. And there is a reason why. In an abusive relationship where there's domestic violence, the very first thing that the abuser is going to do is to weed through the people surrounding the victim. Abusers control the people that the victim has access to. And anybody that shows concern for the victim or surrounds the victim with a lot of attention, really takes a liking to the victim, anybody that gives the impression that they would be concerned for the victim or be a real friend to the victim is going to pose a threat to the abuser and to the abuser's agenda. So the very first thing that every abuser does to their victim is they go through the whole list of all of the people surrounding the victim, and anybody that poses a threat to the agenda of the abuser, you've got to go. They get rid of them. And so the abuser has complete control of the people that surround the victim. And the reason that they do this is to back the victim into a corner. So it's important to understand that abusers don't start off abusing their victims. They're con artists. They have to build up the victim's confidence in them, and it's the first thing they do. And while they are doing that, in the background, they are carefully analyzing all of the people that surround the victim and getting rid of all of the people in the victim's life that that victim could later turn to as an escape. So they close off every escape door that the victim could have in the future, so that when the abuser starts abusing the victim does not have anyone to turn to in their own support circle where they can get away, where they can get leverage back over their own life and their own situation. This is where the power dynamics of the relationship flip, and this puts the abuser in the leverage point over the victim and gives them complete control. So, if I'm the victim in scenario B, and I am walking into a bar with my abuser, and this lady approaches me, and she's nice to me, and she invites me to go get our nails done or whatever, and she's always nice and compliments my dress, but she's probably my abuser's friend. And I have to remember, no matter how nice she is to me, that woman is not my friend. She's not my ally. If the abuser is allowing me to talk to her, it is because she's his ally. It is not because she's my ally. It is because she is within a circle of people that the abuser trusts to defend the abuser should an accusation ever be made against the abuser. And this is one of the main reasons why victims cannot speak up. There is no chance that I am going to say a word to this woman and tell her about the situation that I'm in if I have reasons to believe that she is going to tell the abuser what I said, or she is going to defend the abuser, side with the abuser. Then I'd have to worry about triangulation tactics being done and all kinds of problems this may create. So that is the thing that people need to understand about why victims cannot speak up. Because when you are the victim in a domestic violence relationship, anything that you do is a threat to your safety, possibly. When you have been with a person and all it takes is one event, one time that you have seen that person demonstrate any act of violence whatsoever, and it might not even be an act of violence towards you, the victim, then you at that point know that that person is capable of violence. And that person does not have to verbally make a threat. They don't have to verbally tell you, if you speak up, I will kill you or I will harm you. That threat is already implied, and the victim knows that. And speaking up to any person that is also a friend or an ally of the abuser could literally cost the victim her life.